What's going on now? Welcome to the Comics Code Authority podcast. We are back, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely, scrumptious, sexy, delicious, and handsome homeboys. Fellas, please introduce yourselves.
I am AJ, as always, ready to get into the week's news from Logo Day Plus.
And I'm Elvis. I'm also excited because we have a couple of items on the agenda that I'm just going to tear right into. So if you have any favorite books, please be warned, no one's safe.
Henry Cavill has spoken. The man, the Superman, Henry Cavill has spoken. And supposedly, he wants to do another Man of Steel. He wants to come back as Superman. Not only that, he seems to be on board with a black Clark Kent. I know in our previous episodes in season one, we really weren't feeling it, but this is something that is on board with. He believes that multiple Superman can exist at the same time. A white one and a black one. So obviously, this got the streets talking. So I know we were really heated about this topic a couple months ago. So now that we have some developments, what do y'all think?
Well, I have one great thing. Let me just get this out because it's the only thing I have to say about this. But now Cavill wants to return as Superman. Now, people are saying this would be a Man of Steel sequel, but there was already a Man of Steel sequel that was BVS. It's essentially Man of Steel 2. You can't make another Man of Steel sequel that could directly follow from Man of Steel because they already used all the elements there. They use elements of Metallo, they use elements of Doomsday, use elements of Lex Luthor. You can't really do much more than that for like a proper sequel. So you make Man of Steel 3, the Man of Steel sequel has to be Man of Steel 3.
Mm,
And so what I would do would be like take elements of the Return of Superman, if he says he's okay with like, black Superman, that kind of thing, make it
mhm,
like he again, I said it before, I think I might have said it during the Snyder Roundtable episodes we did.
mhm,
Where if they want to make like a return, like a Superman return kind of thing, where he's like coming back to Metropolis after his resurrection, and he has to get everyone's trust again, bring
mhm.
in Steel. Like bring in Steel. Like
Ooh.
make it like a community outreach thing. Where Steel is like the local kind of hero, and like they have to team up together like on an adventure, and like he that's how he gets back into like the swing of things with Metropolis. Like they like okay, we trust Steel, we trust you, and it's a good kind of buddy superhero movie.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I actually love that idea of bringing Steel in. Warner's probably wouldn't do it just because of the fact that he's currently on Superman and Lois, and for whatever reason, they've gone back to not liking two versions of the same character appearing in the same place, even though they're trying to convince us they're doing a multiverse. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Um, yeah, Cavill saying that he's on board for a black Superman, a black Clark Kent. Cool. He's never really spoken out against Warner Brothers because, he realizes that, hey, I still might need a job one day. So I can see where he's coming from with towing a certain line in regards to the Black Superman film. But hey, Warner's haven't proven that they have a competent direction that they want to go with Superman in. We'll see what happens when the not one but two Superman projects that they're working on right now, the J.J. Abrams and then the Michael B. Jordan one, whatever comes from that, we'll see. Like I said, I guess we'll see what happens. Also, Cavill wanting to come back. I mean, sure, we know he's agreed to do cat to come in for cameos. I would have to assume he wants something more meatier than that. So if it ever happens, it happens. I'm still not, you know, holding my breath for it right now because we're what 8 years removed from Man of Steel. BVS was
Jesus Christ, it's been that
2016. Yeah,
long.
yeah, that long. So we'll see it. We'll see. He's my favorite Superman, but if it doesn't happen, I won't particularly be shocked.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I don't believe Cavill is ever coming back as Superman.
Hmm.
Maybe for a cameo. Maybe for a cameo.
I
But
hope
no,
there's no cameos. Honestly, I would rather have a full movie than him with him in it, than have him interrupt other heroes' movies.
I
Like
absolutely agree.
mm,
again, I hate that so much. I don't know why they keep wanting to do this shit when stuff like Venom, Venom 2, and even like Eternals, like honestly, Eternals, like these are standalone movies. Like Eternals obviously has like references to other shit going on, but like there's no cameo, there's no overlap, and I think that's really great. I love that. Shang-Chi, very like almost like wait, there is no overlap in Shang-Chi. There is zero overlap in Shang-Chi with other movies. Or like, oh, there's that one guy from Homecoming. Who gives a shit? You
yeah,
har- you didn't even see his face at Homecoming. It was like like on the sidewalk. So he barely not even be the same guy. So I love that kind of stuff. Keep it going.
that's just the way I see it going. Honestly, it feels like they still don't know what to do with him. I feel like if WB knew what to do with him, then there would have been a sequel greenlit already. I mean, we have a Shazam sequel on the way. We have an Aquaman sequel on the way. So if you can get those two projects going on, but you can't get a Man of Steel project going on still after all this time. Nah, bro, that ship has sailed. Like, I'm happy that he's enthusiastic for it. That's great. It's good to see. But do I expect him to get that phone call anytime soon? No. Am I still kind of crossing my fingers? Well, not crossing my fingers. Do I still suspect he may have a cameo in the Flash movie? Who knows? Like again, that is just more of a possibility than him coming back for another full on, full length Superman movie. And honestly, him being excited for a black Superman, I mean, cool. Again, I would prefer if it was, Val Zod or just one or a Calvin Ellis, but hey, it is what it is at this point. And like we said last time, it's not going to go past talks or development. I think that's dead in the water after how much it got torn apart on the internet.
I don't know. I That's what people said about the Joker movie, and then that actually happened. Like they're making a Joker Solar movie with the guy who made the Hangover movies. Like that. That sounds like a silly thing. That'll
I
get
don't think it
canceled.
was. I don't think the Joker response was as bad as Black Clark Kent news. I don't think it was that bad. Maybe obviously there was probably people who were very vocal about it, but no way, man. Like, come if you compare the two, there was more of a shitstorm around the Black Superman versus Joker. But yeah, like I said, I'm not holding my breath for this. If it happens, it happens, and I will gladly retread everything that I said here. But nope, until then, nope. Sorry, don't believe it. Um,
Also, I have to say before we move
what's up?
on, it might sound a little gauche, but and when you said like Cavill said he's for a black Superman, Black Clark Kent, I'm like, well, what's he gonna say? No black Superman, never on my watch.
Oh my
I'll
god!
die for a black Superman. Like,
Oh
what is he
my
gonna say
god!
that? No, no.
Oh my god! I didn't even think about that. They would have canceled that man so hard.
Not as long as I'm alive.
Oh my god. I'm gonna say that would have been hilarious to see play out, but also fucked up at the same time. Oh my god. Henry Cavill canceled. But yeah, man, like I said, not holding my breath. Let's move on. So this topic, oh boy. Oh boy.
Who wants to delay on
It
this?
seems like this whole situation with Black Panther 2 is just getting worse and worse and worse. So it seems like Letitia Wright may not be able to come back to the US because of her vaccination status. And because of that, Black Panther 2 may be delayed again. And if you guys don't remember, Black Panther 2 was already delayed because she got injured on set in Boston. And a little side note, I actually did pass through the filming in Black Panther 2 right there in MIT. I forgot, I think it was the Riri Williams scene. And yeah, I interrupted their filming because they obviously did not know how to redirect traffic. But
This is
anyways,
all your fault, bro. This is all your
yeah,
fault.
who knows? Maybe when I was running around trying to like bike through the filming set, homegirl got distracted, broke a leg or whatever, and that's how she got injured. Well, no,
She's
I'm
like,
just playing.
This guy looks like Satan.
Damn, it's kind of harsh. um, but yeah, so looks like this movie may be delayed again. So obviously now there's a lot of people who are just fed up with it because there's been reports coming out a couple months ago that she's sharing her anti-vax views, and if you don't remember, a couple months way before that, she got in trouble for sharing an anti-vax video. So this is just some more accumulation on a topic that was already hot. So I'll let y'all take the reins because I have some thoughts on this whole entire thing, but I want to let y'all get your thoughts out first.
Well, I just want to say, in the moment, at the time when Chadwick Boseman passed, it might have seemed like um, it might have seemed a little bit callous if Disney had been like, "We're looking for a new T'Challa," you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after a couple of months, it would have. That's when they should have done it. I think
Mm,
everyone was thinking too much in the moment. I guess when everyone
Yep.
was saying don't recast T'Challa, they were thinking that Disney would have been like a day later. They're like, we got a new one, we got a new actor. When no, these movies take time. Like it's been like what, like 2 years, and I think that would have been an appropriate amount of time to been like, okay, now we have a new actor for Black Panther. But no, but back then, of course, in the fresh of the moment, no one's thinking about the length of time that would have passed, you
mm-hmm.
know. And I think that if we had all just taken a seat, and just kind of taken a breathe, we a lot of this could have been avoided.
That is absolutely correct. I haven't made my, I mean, I haven't made my thoughts about the T'Challa issue private. People know that I'm in favor of recasting him, but back to Letitia. So yeah, so she gets injured, right, on set, and I can't remember if Rose saying it was in Boston. So I guess that
It
was
was in
before they
Boston.
moved. Okay, so that was before they moved filming to Atlanta. Um, so she gets injured, and she was supposed to initially be off. They said like I want to say like 3 to 4 weeks for recovery time. Um, so okay, cool. So during her recovery time, I guess she just decides to hey hop on a plane and go to an entirely another continent. Okay, cool. That's fine. Even though we were already having issues traveling to and from the United States because of COVID right
Mm-hmm.
now, but in that time, the CDC, also located here in Atlanta, so that's been a big thing in the past few weeks, has issued new travel guidelines for non citizens of the United States of America. And long story short, bruh, if you're not vaccinated and you are not a U.S. citizen, you are not getting on a plane to come to this country. So, um, that's the boat that Letitia Wright is in right now. I'm sure Disney is trying to figure out maybe how can we possibly get her back into the country, but I'm fairly certain if they've done this with planes, they're going to be looking into it soon with boats as well. So she might not even be able to sail it. We'll see. I'm of the opinion right now. Hey, just recast her, man. She's become too much of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But let's for a second imagine a world where Chadwick Boseman was still alive, right? He still has cancer, but he's fighting cancer, and then the pandemic happens. So he would have been already somebody high risk of catching COVID and high risk of dying from COVID. Now his cast member, supposedly, his little sister in the film, is so cavalier about taking a vaccine that could, help protect his safety as well. It's kind of shitty, but okay. Um, Letitia, she's proven to be more of a headache than what she's worth. I mean, yeah, she was fine in the first one. I enjoyed her character, but not to the extent where I'm okay with her risking the lives of not only her fellow actors but the hundreds of people who are on that set every day as part of the crew. No, man, get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
She's more trouble than what she's worth.
I honestly do not remember it in the movie. I mean, it's
Damn.
she's. She's like what does she
Shit.
even like? What does she even do in her appearances so far in the MCU? Oh, I'm so smart. Here's blah 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 blah. Oh, just blah 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 blah. Like she's just speaking nonsense sci-fi garbage. You know, like it's nothing. It's not. Oh,
God
like everyone's
damn,
everyone. No,
Elvis.
that's fine. But this is what I think about all the time. When everyone's like, because back when it was like, oh, Shuri is so much smarter than Tony Stark, and like I don't give a shit about any of the relative smartness because it's all relative to bullshit. You know, this is not real science. So when everyone was going on like she's like the smartest character in the MCU, like she's so badass, like what that means nothing because this is all fictional bullshit comic book science. Like people were like, oh, she's so cool and she's so badass, she's so kick ass, like. And then I just remember that scene in Endgame where she's like analyzing Vision's brain, and she's like, "Well,
Mhm.
why didn't you do blah 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 blah?" And then connect blah 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 blah, and then parallel blah blah blah. And Bruce Banner's like, "Oh my God, you're so smart, Shuri. We're so dumb compared to you." Like, she just spoke nonsense. It's not a scene that's believable. You know, again, it's not supposed to be believable at all. But like, it's like people are using that as evidence that like she's so much smarter than the rest of the characters. Like, no, she's only smart compared to whatever nonsense the writers put on the script. You know?
Yeah, and it's not like they're gonna go tit for tat like in a
Exactly.
movie with their smarts. Like, come on, no way.
Exactly. Well, that'd be an interesting concept. I'd watch that. but um, but yeah, no, that's why I always thought it was like kind of ridiculous that she got so overplayed. Like because she does like literally nothing in these movies. Like you could cut her out, and the movies would kind of not change. Like her position as T'Challa's sister doesn't really matter. Like she could just be like a really plucky scientist friend, and it wouldn't change at all. Like his real connections are to like Okoye and to like his girlfriend, you know, his ex girlfriend. Like those are like the actual kind of human bonds he has. And like Shuri is kind of like an ancillary, plucky comic relief character. You know, she doesn't really do anything,
See
And that's
now
who they've decided to make the next Black Panther
and that's what I hate.
that
instead
that's
of
what I wanted to.
recasting.
But here, that's exactly what I was going to go into. Like, I agree with what Elvis is saying, like, in terms of her status, but at the same time, I think right after Chadwick had died, she got elevated in the eyes of fans because immediately it was, oh shit, she's going to
Hmm.
become the next Black Panther. And then all of a sudden we start hearing these rumors. None of this is confirmed, by the way. There's no confirmation, no accurate confirmation that Shuri is going to be the next Black Panther. So this is just completely full fan speculation. So again, she gets elevated, and then everybody has this idea in their heads that she's going to be the new Black Panther, and then all of this stuff comes out with her being supposedly an anti-vaxxer. So then I think that's where people are more upset at, is because in their eyes she is the new Black Panther, and that you should this is something you probably shouldn't preach if you are going to be the next Black Panther. But also on the flip side, I'm like this, yo, if homegirl don't want to get vaccinated, bro, that she is well within her right not to get vaccinated. She's
Yeah,
well within her right.
yeah,
But
she's well
also
within her
at
right. She's well within her right to have not vaccinated status down a well, like
yeah,
away from society and
yeah,
humanity.
no,
Just
no,
trapped her down there.
and here's and that's it. I was gonna fall by saying that's her right, but also at the same time too, this is the world that we live in. And again, let's just say Chadwick was still here. And what if we didn't know? What if we didn't know about Chadwick's status? Also on top of that, what if we didn't know? What if they didn't know? So you got to put that into consideration. So this is the world that we live in, and while she is within her right, yo, you're working with a shit ton of people who live in a country that, hey, they're requiring you to be vaccinated. And now what started off as like a little tiny headache, like her sharing the anti-vax video, whatever, I think that would have blown over. It just seems like as the time went on, it was almost kind of like it's doubling down. So you
Yeah.
start off with the anti-vax video, and then there's rumors circulating that you're spreading anti-vax stuff. And then on top of that, now you can't even make it back into the country to film the damn movie, which has already been delayed because of you. Now, I'm not somebody who likes to just jump on the recast, because that's the internet's response for anything someone does that they don't like. That's everybody's, oh, recast, recast. I think this time around, I might have to jump on that bandwagon. I might have to. Because at this point, you're playing with Disney's money. And I do feel like Disney right now, they may be holding their feet on recasting because I don't think they ever saw a case where somebody who doesn't want to get vaccinated is a clause. I don't think they ever saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw that coming. So I feel like they're trying to figure out something in a contract where, yo, what can we do? What is something about this situation we can use as a clause to get her out this contract? If they're having those conversations,
They need to
if
hire Zack Snyder because he's a master at kind of photoshopping actors into green screen. I mean,
wait,
we saw it in the Snyder cut, and we saw in Army of the Dead. Like just get him in a room with Letitia Wright and a green screen. It's seamless.
I mean, that's not impossible. It's all up to Disney at this point. I really don't know what they're going to do. Like I feel like this is a game that can drag on for. I give it another month. I give it
I,
another month.
I was thinking
It,
the same. Is it really going to depend on how far they're willing to go to accommodate Letitia? Because one thing that we really haven't talked about, and other folks in the comic book or movie space, they haven't really talked about it either. Hey, everybody likes to say that, oh, the movies are back. It's Hollywood is back. It's safe to go to these movies. Blase, blase, blase. They're losing money on every movie that they put out right now. Do you think
mhm,
$400 million on Shang-Chi is a good box office number? Yeah, for the pandemic is good,
It's
but
also what it
you didn't
deserved.
spend. What's that?
It wasn't that good.
But
Pretty
you
boring.
didn't. But we just talking numbers.
wait.
We never did a Shang-Chi episode though. So this is
No, we did. But
Oh yeah, oh, that's right. We didn't. But keep going, AJ. Keep going.
yeah, no, those numbers are good for a pandemic. But the money that you spent on the film wasn't money that you spent in a pandemic. That was when you
Mm,
thought everything was going to be back to normal. And we know how Marvel is when it comes to what they spend on their movies. They really spend more than what they need to on a lot of these things because they know they're going to make it back at the box office. That hasn't been the case this year. Shang-Chi's been the best one of their films, and that one is still underwater when you take into account marketing and back end deals.
hmm
Same thing for Black Widow. It's definitely going to be the case for Eternals. Um, so with looking at that, then you're looking at the money that they're losing by pushing all these films back because the creditors that they've had with these films, hey, they're going to be wanting their money, their return on investment. They're going to be wanting that. So either you pay them early or you keep pushing it back and don't pay them, and then the interest keeps building up. So you lose. So you take in even less when the movie finally does come out.
Shit.
And Black Panther is a movie that's already been delayed. Like it was supposed to shoot last year, it didn't. It's shooting now, but now it's stopped. It was supposed to come out like maybe next May or something, and we know that's been delayed months again already. So we're talking about at least three delays. They're
Yeah.
losing money every time they push it back. How willing are they going to be to keep Letitia around till stuff gets situated with COVID? I don't know that they're willing to wait for that.
And also too, I know we were not really big fans of the whole MCU story, but you also got to put that into consideration too. It's just like when this shit gets pushed back, how does that affect the entire line?
Right.
Because I'm sure there's plans for Ironheart as well. So when you push back Black Panther, which is supposed to be the introduction to Ironheart, how does that play out, or whatever else is going to be happening in Phase 4, Phase 5? Because I think we could kind of see with Black Widow how the delays kind of altered some things. Like you can
Hmm.
tell, they kind of had to put some last minute shit together to make everything gel. It was very evident, especially in that end credit scene. So we also got to take that into consideration too, because it's like it's not only money; it's also continuity, and Marvel is really hard with that type of stuff right now, especially when you're considering the fact that they're trying to put all the Disney Plus stuff and the movie stuff together in one somewhat cohesive unit. So it's a lot to consider.
And yeah, now you mentioned Ironheart, it's the thing I wanted to talk about because it was so interesting to me when we're seeing like people asking about like recasting Letitia Wright or finally recasting T'Challa, and I'm thinking like if they had recast T'Challa from like the beginning, I mean not like the very beginning, but like after a respectful kind of mourning period, and because you heard like reports that Ryan Coogler was already pretty much finished with his Black Panther 2 script, and he
Hmm.
had T'Challa was still the main character in that, and then having to reorganize and reshuffle after his death, and like it becomes really apparent that like Letitia Wright and like Ironheart, they were there to fill that gap, and so none of this would be happening if they had still had T'Challa, you know.
Yeah, that's the downside of it too, because now it seems like everything that we've heard about this movie outside of the Letitia Wright stuff, it just seems like a jumbled mess. And that's not to disrespect, Ryan Coogler's pen. Like I'm sure the dude just he had to do with what he was given. He probably had to scrap everything and probably start off with something fresh. I'm sure it was probably never going to be an Ironheart in Black Panther 2. But now they got to jumble in all this stuff because I mean, as much as it sucks to say, the show must go on. Like Disney already they had contracts with these people, so it's either do we dish out all this money right off the bat because we need to cancel this movie, or do we just have to chalk it up and make do? So it just seems like everything about this movie in general has just been I don't mean to say, but a curse. It's like the easiest thing would just be to fucking cancel it, but you can't really do that so late in the game. And as for Letitia Wright, another part that I wanted to bring up is like how much did she film? So how much of that, if they do recast, is that person just gonna have to redo everything?
It wouldn't be the first time for a Disney movie.
Oh
Uh,
no.
I know some stuff they could potentially do with just mocap and placing a new actress's face over Letitia's, but that's also going to be expensive. So it's really not a lot of good options here. Um, Probably if they do recast, they probably will have somebody film everything that she's filmed all over again, which means all those other actors and actresses are going to have to come back and film everything all over again. It's There are not a lot of good options right now. I mean, I guess probably the cheapest thing that Disney could do is pick up and move the entire production into the UK. But once again, that is expensive because, yeah, you've got an entire production rooted right here in Atlanta right now. Um, just like outside of the stuff that you said they filmed in Boston, the majority of this film takes place here is not takes place, but it's shot here, right on Tyler Perry's studio.
Oh
That's
yeah.
where they do all this because they have amazing facilities. I know Disney has a studio in London that they use. They do a lot of the Star Wars stuff, so maybe that's an option. But yeah, it's going to be expensive because yeah, the other thing why Marvel likes to film here, we give a shit ton of tax breaks to productions that come and film here in
Oh
Georgia.
really?
So yes, that's why like put it this way, 90% of the movies I can point out locations exactly that are shot here. Like so many of them take place that like downtown across from the state
Mm-hmm.
capitol or on Georgia State's campus, which is really just downtown. Um, yeah, like perfect example. I'm thinking now that comes to head mind, Baby Driver. That movie is shot basically on four streets in the city.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah, so because like I said, Georgia gives a lot of tax breaks. So if they pick up and remove the film, and if they pick up and move the film from here to the UK, you're going
Mm-hmm.
to lose out on those. So once again, it's expensive. I I don't know what Disney is going to do there. Not a lot of good options here.
All right. So to kind of wrap this convo up, so when do we think this movie is gonna come out realistically?
Never.
Okay, Elvis, give us a. Can you please be real? They can't not do never.
Okay. It's gonna come out. They're gonna I would say whatever they're planning on taking it out, I would add another 3 months to that.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out, I believe, next summer. It's been pushed to later in next year. I think it's gonna have to hit. It's gonna have to go to 2023. I think.
I either 2023 or I think holidays 2022.
Yeah, something around there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with early to mid 2023 because it's too delicate of a situation, honestly.
Hmm.
Like we don't know how long this could play out, and now we're not just talking Disney here. We're talking the CDC. We're talking COVID. We're talking a pandemic. We're talking you cannot fly. This ain't no Hollywood behind the scenes, nonsense. This is real life. This is real life. So I'm gonna say mid 2023. That's where I stand. So we will see. Like honestly, with the way the story has gone, every other week it's something. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come back next week and there's another development. That that's where I stand on this entire thing. So we will see. We will see. All right. So next up, what AJ is calling Logo Day. Logo Day. So Friday was the Disney Plus day. Yeah, this was a Disney Plus day where we got a bunch of announcements, and I'll be honest, a lot of this shit, I'm big sleeping on y'all. I'm big sleeping. Like I'm real big sleeping.
Let's just
Ugh.
do let's just do some quick shots. All right, we have a list. X-Men 97
Oh
thoughts.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, come on, that was a no-brainer, guys. As soon as they purchased the Fox stuff, and as soon as they purchased Fox Studios, and they put all those old X-Men episodes up on Disney Plus, it was only a matter of time. That's an extremely popular show for multiple generations, and it was a lot of people's their introduction into the X-Men. I would have thought that maybe they would have just settled for remastering those old episodes, but they're going to continue the series, so I'm pretty hyped for it.
But didn't you hear one of the writers has Black Lives Matter in their bio, so it's clearly going to be a
it's woke,
woke.
bro. It's
It's going to
woke.
be a
It's woke.
woke re-envisioning of the classic animated show. No, that's literally a comment I saw on Twitter today. Like, are you ridiculous?
Yes,
Like,
because the X-Men have never been a symbol for marginalized and oppressed
oh,
groups ever in
well,
their history.
you don't understand when people say they are against SJW politics in comics and comic book media. They're just talking about bad writing. They don't want bad writing in comics book media, which is why we don't say bad writing. We just say SJW politics and woke agendas, even though it'd be easier to say bad writing. We'd rather say a
which is
dog whistle than an actual complaint.
which is funny that the bad writing only ever apparently
Exactly.
happens with black and brown people or gay
Mm,
people or
or a
yeah,
non-white
yeah,
person in the lead.
yeah, thank you exactly,
Mm.
but
We all
that's
know how
neither here nor
great
there.
and tight a storyline Cyberfrog was.
Oh yes, it's amazing. Listen, Cyberfrog is comic book gold.
It
Bullshit.
deserves all of the Eisners.
Yes. Honestly, X-Men 97, I was not expecting it. Here's my thing. I never really finished the X-Men series. One day I'll get to it, but
Don't watch season 5. Get to season 4 and stop.
Of
I
what?
feel X-Men.
X-Men
Uh,
90, the X-Men series. They changed animation companies and got really cheap, so it doesn't look as good.
I don't, what I have to say about that is it's one of those shows where I feel like you should just leave it alone. But that's how I feel about a lot of stuff that gets rebooted. Like if it was great for its time, leave it alone because I don't think it's gonna get ruined by woke writing. But it's kind of one of those things where I want to say 8 out of 10 times when it comes to these reboots, I always leave or finish watching it feeling like you could have just left this alone. You didn't have to do this. Now, who knows? It sounds like they have a pretty competent writing team. So, hey, this very well could be something great. And this is something that could add on to the legacy of that show. But I'm skeptical about it. I'm skeptical 100%. Like,
what
just leave the shit alone.
what really needs a revival is the '90s Spider-Man because that ended on a cliffhanger. Okay, so we need to get another season of that immediately.
Wasn't that?
No,
Didn't they do something with that with Spider-Man Unlimited or something?
That was like if the Incredible Hulk was a sequel to Ang Lee's Hulk. That was that kind of situation where like we were gonna pretend that a lot of stuff happened, but it's gonna be an entirely new thing. So
Oh,
it didn't really resolve anything. The original series ended on a cliffhanger.
oh, okay. All right.
but if this revival is successful, which it probably will be, don't be surprised if that Spider-Man gets brought back. A lot of their old cartoons, matter of fact.
Like Ghost Rider and Fantastic Four. Yeah, yeah, classics. Anyway, next one up, She-Hulk. Has anyone had anything to say about this at all?
Just that I am incredibly shocked that people are complaining. Not just that they're complaining, but that they actually thought that Marvel was going to go out with a more roided out version of She-Hulk. Um, Number one,
I was hoping for that.
oh god, Jason Aaron has completely ruined that pipe dream for y'all forever. His in no, like it would have been fine if she was just big and muscular, but she was still Jen. All right, that would have been fine. This is Hulk in a wig that he has been putting in that book for the past 3 years. Okay, and
She-Hulk
y'all,
must
He's not
smash.
lying. You're not lying.
so I'm sorry, Marvel is never doing that again. You see, they're getting her up out of the Avengers book now to give her own book in January to get folks primed for the show. So yes, you are always going to see the more supermodel esque version of Jennifer Walters, that more John Byrne, Dan Slott kind of She Hulk. You might get lucky and her muscle mass might increase a bit when she's a little angry, but it's still never going to be like a big hulking figure, all puns intended.
Damn it.
They're
Fuck.
not going to do that. So
Fuck.
My main complaint, at least if like again her design, is that the
yeah,
couple of shots we've seen, they don't look toned at all. Like it doesn't not that she's like not bulky and like roided out looking, but like, it doesn't look toned. It just looks like
the,
a
the,
regular.
the calves the calves do, but I have a suspicion that might be because of the shoes, because it looks like heels are built into the shoes, and
Yeah,
that will
and
make her calf muscles pop out.
that's
But
disappointing.
we'll
I don't want She-Hulk to be just like the actress, slightly bigger, painted green. I want to see some
yeah,
definition. You know, some
like
muscle.
we'll see. But also, it looked unfinished. Like you can tell they haven't.
Yeah.
No, the
They're
Hulk always looks
nowhere
like
near
that.
done with that
Hulk,
CGI on her.
The Hulk always like shit. That's just how
Right.
that's not unfinished. That's just what MCU
Yeah.
does.
Nah,
Um,
like that. The jumpsuit, you can tell that's not on her body at all. So right now, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's probably about. Let me look at the list for these for the logo day shit
well,
because
no, let me.
that's probably
I have actually one more thought on She-Hulk, so you can look at
yeah.
well.
Go ahead.
I said, so it was funny to me that when people honed in on like the brilliant homage to the original '70s Hulk show in that like 2 second bit from the
Man, half
teaser.
half of them people were a twinkle in their mother's eye when. Hell,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
a twinkle in my mother's
No
eye when the
way.
original
but
Hulk show came on.
what gets me is that it's obviously like an imagined sequence, like she's like a dream sequence, like a Family
Right,
Guy
I thought the
cutaway.
same thing.
And it's like that worries me a lot because like of course the classic She-Hulk runs like Burn Slot, they rely a lot on like kind of fourth wally humor.
Hmm.
And I think that's gonna be their attempt to do that, and like that's not gonna be irritating at
Nah,
all.
she's got to do it in
But
just
like
real time. At least I hope so.
exactly, but like I feel like that's if that's an indication, it might be skits, and I'm like, please no.
Oh man, if they do that, it will be almost as disappointing as the She-Hulk Marvel's been putting out the past 3 years in their
Eh,
books.
Very Ally McBeal and Eli Stone ish
Yeah,
shit. If anyone remembers Eli Stone, well, what a
I
show.
remember Ally McBeal, not
I remember
Well,
Batman Reveal too.
Eli Stone is a show where he has where like this lawyer has a tumor in his brain that causes him to hallucinate musical sequences, and
no, no. My mom used to watch that. Okay, okay,
I think he dies in the final episode or something.
Jesus, well, I hope they don't do that.
What a crazy show!
Honestly, like I saw the trailer. I'm like, yo, this looks okay. And that's just been my consensus for all of the stuff that's on this
Yeah,
list.
All
exactly.
right, so let's move on to some more quick shots. Let's not waste too much time. Okay, next up we have Moon Knight. Anything?
What is that accent?
It-
That might
uh,
just be one
uh,
of his
it's so,
personalities.
yeah,
But
yeah,
what is that accent?
that's what people are saying. Like that, like that's like it's gonna be an accent for one of his multiple personalities. Yeah, like he's gonna have different accents throughout the
I hope
show,
so. Oh
and
my god.
but that's worried me because like I don't think Oscar Isaac is a talented actor. I don't think he's a talented actor enough to do multiple personalities. Like
Mm,
like
Yeah.
even on Doom Patrol, which it gets it really good, it also gets it equally terrible. Like half of the time, no offense to Diane Guerrero, I think she's a great actress. Crazy Jane has been an amazing character, as the show's gone on. But still, like 50-50, like her character, you can tell as the show has gone on, it's become more the personalities in her head than actually seeing her as the actress perform the personalities. Like in
mm.
the first season, you always see the personalities come forth, and now like by season three, it's always in her head, and you never see her actually act out the personalities, actual sort of attitudes because
Right.
it's cringy. And then you have Split and Glass and M Night Superhero Trilogy. Jay McAvoy, he does it really well. It's also really silly, and I think it's gonna turn out to be really silly. Uh, and that's my only thought. Like, it sounds really bad. I'm the Moon Knight.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, I saw the trailer. I'm like,
I
no.
want.
And mind you, I don't really know much about Moon Knight, but still, that I'm not convinced with that trailer. Maybe with the second one, maybe, but I don't know. You're also talking to somebody whose enthusiasm for anything Marvel these days is just like really low. So,
All right.
what about Miss Marvel?
Nothing. I don't give a shit.
Still,
Like,
they're running. Not that I like her particularly as a character, but they're running from everything that they've done somewhat well with that character. So whatever. I'm
Yeah,
not
I was
interested.
seeing some talk on the timeline like a couple weeks ago. Supposedly they're stripping they're stripping away a lot of what makes her her.
She she's she's basically a Green Lantern now, supposedly.
Oh,
Her
she
powers
she
are going to be constructs.
she bunker. It's being more specific.
no, because I
Yeah,
saw something I saw something that said that says something along the lines of they're not doing certain things with her character because they already have characters who have that same power set, but supposedly her
yeah.
power set lines up with a couple of other people that are in the MCU or about to be
They're
in the
talking about
MCU.
Mister Fantastic because apparently the Fantastic Four is going to be probably be the first Fox property that they bring into the MCU, and it's supposedly going to happen sooner rather than later. So I guess they don't want two people with stretchy powers, but I don't know. It always seemed like Kamala's powers were a little more than just stretching. But what do I know? I'm not the guy in charge of the multi-billion-dollar franchise. But mm, if he can't figure it out, okay, whatever.
Yeah, same. Uh, Spider-Man freshman year. This is a
I
we.
love this. Sorry. I got to take this. I
Oh,
gotta take this.
hey, take it, take it.
Okay, so I think it's fucking hilarious that MCU kind of prided itself on like, oh, we're gonna skip the origin story everyone knows. We're gonna start like afresh with like a simple Spider-Man. We're not gonna do all the same old tired stuff, you know. And then we're now just we're getting an entire show based on the old origin everyone knows, and it's like, well, you could have just made a movie out of that, and I think it would have been really cool and that would have saved us all from having to sit through two movies that are exactly the same movie, just one's really worse than the other. Like imagine if Spider-Man freshman year had been the first movie and Spider-Man Homecoming had been the second movie, and then we wouldn't have to have had like a skip like stopgap sequel because that's really what Far From Home is. It's just there to fill up space to
Mhm.
like stall for time for like Endgame to and everything to kind of coalesce together. It doesn't exist on its own entity. It's like a filler movie. So I feel like this should have been a movie. You know, it doesn't need to be a show, and it's ridiculous that it is.
Oh, and best believe they're gonna milk the shit out of this show. they're going to keep that show going for as long as they can.
Oh, I'm
There's
absolutely excited.
365 days of freshman year, and who knows how to spend it.
Oh my goodness. But
Heck, maybe.
yeah, they're doing everything that should have been done in the first movie. Like you said, I still don't know how you do a Spider-Man film franchise and you never once utter the words Uncle Ben. That's fine, whatever. It'd be like the equivalent of, hey, we're doing a Batman movie, and everybody says, oh, they're tired of seeing the Waynes die again. But hey, newsflash, people, sometimes that Batman movie that comes out is somebody's first Batman movie when
Yep.
they're a kid, and they've never seen the Waynes die before. That's why that scene's important. Same thing with Spider-Man. You need to see Uncle Ben get murked. I'm sorry, you just need to.
It's good
But
narrative structure.
it is, it is. But they don't. I don't know. Maybe the online chatter has finally gotten to them, and they said, hey, we need to rectify this. But I guess so. We're gonna do a cartoon to the film franchise that should have been the first movie in the film franchise. And it also would have, hey, we don't have to have Spider Man be Iron Man Jr. for a film. So,
Oh,
Oh, right.
yeah.
That's yeah. This is gonna be him in his homemade costume, right? If I
yes,
mean,
him by
lo-
himself.
logically, right? Although I think they might have like an excuse to like shove in the Stark suit somewhere, you know.
Oh, God.
But like
You're
that
probably right.
that makes me excited though if they actually have the balls for that.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. But I don't know. It's sad that I've gotten to the point where I can't get excited about Spider Man related stuff. But, that's what the MCU has done.
Yeah, but don't worry,
Yeah.
we got the Sony Marvel universe. The
Hey,
yeah,
Yay.
I'll take it any day over what they're doing with them right now.
yeah. I mean, I'm glad because there's like lots of rumors saying that this. I think I mentioned this already, but lots of rumors saying that Spider-Man's Venom crossover is going to be its own separate King in Black movie, and like that's the way to do it. That way you have Venom 3, and it's like
Hmm.
you don't have to infringe on it. So fingers crossed.
I'm on the same boat. Like with the Uncle Ben stuff, honestly, they could have just made that into a scene, not even like a long scene. They could have just been like a flashback, show Uncle Ben dying, and that would have been fine. But I guess this is okay. Like, what can you do here that we really haven't seen before? And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they do shove in Tony Stark in here at some point. And I'm pretty sure they're not above getting RDJ to come through and voice him just so they can get some ratings up. Because supposedly right now, them Disney stocks are shit, and their subscriber numbers are in the toilet. So at this
Yeah, they
point, it
missed their
seems like
projections by 80%.
yeah. So it's like a lot of the stuff on the screen or a lot of these announcements, it just looks like yeah, we are just throwing shit at the wall, and we hope it sticks.
I honestly think that's what the whole point of Disney Plus Day was, to try to drive those subscriber numbers back up, because they've also been doing a thing where if you're a returning customer or a new customer, you can sign up for 199 a month.
Yep.
Um, and then yeah, just hey, let's throw a whole bunch of logos at the screen to remind you, hey, we've got cool stuff coming, guys. Please come back. Because I mean, I get Disney Plus free for right now, but I when Shang Chi came out, that was the no when Disney Plus or Disney Plus and Shang Chi both hit the Disney Plus Day, and Shang Chi both came on the same day. But that was the first time I've used Disney Plus, and I know, no, it's the first time I used it since Black Widow came out, however long ago that was. So, um, I keep it around, like I said, because it's free. But for folks who have to pay for it, yeah, I'm sure a ton of them dropped the service, and it looks like it hurt them a little bit because I guess they felt
Not
like
a
they
little
needed
bit.
to. But yeah, they felt they needed to drive some conversation their way. So we'll see if it works. You know, I don't know. I feel they could have come harder than a bunch of logos at the screen, in my opinion.
Definitely. Last one. Uh, honestly, I don't even know why they're doing this secret invasion bullshit, dog. Like,
It's so ridiculous. Like
it,
I wish they should tell us if the scrolls are the villains or not.
Yeah, like I really didn't think they were going to do a secret invasions after they said it. I mean, I'm sure they alluded to the fact that, oh yeah, there are good scrolls and bad scrolls, but I'm sorry, Captain Marvel made the scrolls family friendly, bro. Like,
Yeah,
what
like
what are we doing here?
it makes no sense to me because I wish they would just say, all right, like, who are the villains? This like, is it gonna be like the Skrulls just living peacefully and like the villains are like like ultra humanists like supremacists who are like trying to rout out the Skrulls who are just living peacefully? Because like, okay, whatever, that's stupid, but it would fit with the themes of Captain Marvel. Or if the Skrulls are villains, then I don't think that any MCU writer has the skill to like go from Captain Marvel's like immigrant refugee allegory to like, oh, but it turns out that bunch of them were actually like super Nazi
Yeah.
shapeshifters. So you got to keep a watch out for the bad ones. There's some bad hombres in the scroll bunch, like what the fuck.
Yeah, it seems to, yeah, again, it just seems like they missed their mark here. But I do feel like maybe that is the angle that they could be going for. Because this seems like a pretty serious thing, especially with that picture we got of Samuel L. Jackson. Like, it seems like it's going to be a major event. Now,
The
I
guy who
don't
got
even.
bit by the cat.
Oh yeah.
Very serious. You're right.
um, and we're not even sure if this is going to be a crossover, right? Or this is just going to be its own self-contained thing. Because I remember back in the day when the book was out, like this was a brand wide situation. So what are we doing here? If it's not going to be a crossover, what are we doing?
Oh, well, I think, well, rumors are because Secret Invasion's been teased for probably about 2 years now. That yeah, they want it to be a huge crossover event on the level of some of their Avengers films and whatnot. But that begs the question: hey, if that's the case, why are we putting this on Disney Plus? Well, wait, no, I just answered that question earlier. They need to drive them subscribers up. But the MCU doesn't feel big enough yet to handle a Secret Invasion storyline yet. I mean, I guess you can, but I don't know. I don't, especially now that you've killed off a good number of heroes. I don't know if I can take the scroll threat seriously because it's not so much about, oh, anybody can be a scroll, as more so it's like, hey, yeah, there are a handful of people in your universe who might be scrolls.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like this, if they had done this like concurrently with like Infinity War, it would have a
Mm,
lot more impact because you had so much going on then. And
Right.
now it's like, well, I guess we can say that Tony Stark and T'Challa aren't Skrulls, so that narrows it down
Mm-hmm.
and shit like that.
We'll see what they do with it, but I mean, it's always good to see Sam Jackson back as Nick Fury, but that's one of the few things they've done
I
decently lately.
He's always been boring cut.
no, I was gonna before you go off, I was gonna say too, like if this is gonna be a crossover, I feel like now is the time they should be sorting out the contracts because I don't
Yeah,
think they want a ScarJo situation to happen again. So let's just say this is gonna be a, a crossover type event, but on Disney Plus. Like I hope they got their ducks in order, so we're not hearing art, excuse me, actors and actresses, you know, pissing and moaning about money they should have gotten because this was supposed to be like a movie type deal instead of it just being a TV deal. So
yeah.
I hope.
Disney's never gonna let that happen again because they got embarrassed. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to shortchange some of these folks since they're gonna view this as a TV program compared to a movie,
Mm,
even though it's on streaming. And so I wouldn't be surprised if some folks just don't agree to show up in it because they feel like they're not getting paid enough. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. But yeah, they're going to have their lawyers all over these contract situations from here on out. Nobody in the MCU anyway, is ever going to be able to sue Marvel and Disney again unless it's like some heinous type stuff that went down. Other than that, not Scarlett Johansson. She was the first and only.
yeah. Oh, and I think also too. I think it was Emma. What's his name?
Emma
Nah,
Stone.
Emma
they settled with her.
Stone.
They
Oh, they
settled with
settled with
her
her too.
quick,
They gave they
Okay.
quick.
greenlit Cruella too immediately.
Yes.
She got that money.
Okay. good for her. All right, so yeah, that's about it. This again, all of this is just it's meh for me, man. It's meh.
Hmm.
It's meh.
I'm
What
only
about
here
you,
for Boba
Scott?
Fett. That's all I care
Man,
about. All these they don't matter.
That's something that they should have saved for yesterday, but I guess they decided, hey, the one show we actually have a trailer for, let's put this a week before our big event.
That's true.
Okay,
I ain't gonna hold you. I'm excited for Agatha. That's it. That's the only show I care about. That's the one I'm watching
Agatha
day
all
fucking
along,
one.
bro.
Hell yeah,
Why?
boy. Cause she
Why?
is fine. What the fuck? I'll watch a whole entire series of her. The fuck?
Manjaw.
Fuck.
No, she's good. I like the actress is great.
Yeah, she
I like,
is.
but like the show
Yeah,
was terrible,
thank you, thank you.
so I don't give a
Man,
crap about the character.
WandaVision just crashes hard, man.
It crashed acts like it was anywhere other than ground floor. It crashes. It goes from ground level to like face plant.
It
That's.
at least scraped decent for like the first 4 episodes. Then it
Oh,
just turned
I'll
into
give you the first episode, but after that, no.
Yeah,
just turned into big sky battle with light shows and man, come on.
I
Oh,
think
that show.
I think writing the not knowing how to write actual villains was in like episode 2 was like the main downfall.
Yeah.
Before that, like, oh, how do we get people to not think that Wanda's an evil, horrible, soulless monster? We'll just have the other characters say ridiculous, out of context shit. Your mother, I'm glad your mom died of cancer before she could see you like this, black
And now
person.
we're supposedly having to we're having
I'm
to reshoot.
white. I'm white and you're black, and we're the government. That's the fucking level of writing on WandaVision.
Yes, and now we have to reshoot Doctor Strange because we can't have people see Wanda as a villain.
oh, brother.
You're gonna make people go through 6 days a week for 6 weeks worth of reshoot. Man, that movie
Is
is gonna
that wait?
crash
Hold on.
hard.
Wait. Is that what's happening here?
That's the rumor, yeah.
That's
Oh,
the rumor.
fuck me.
Supposedly Disney showed it to execs, and they didn't like that Wanda comes off as a villain. They're saying that, oh, Wanda was in such a great place with the fans after WandaVision. We can't show her as a bad. What great place,
Yeah,
man?
I mean, we also have Monica was like, "Thank you, white person, for saving my soul." And
That's
the
exactly what it was. Oh my god.
the magical whitey. That was the magical whitey trope.
Please don't tell me this is true.
People are
The
guessing.
reshoots are definitely true. The reasons behind it could
People
potentially
also
not be.
people are also saying that just because Raimi has such a distinctive kind of like style that it might just be like awkward. When you look at Raimi's films, like he's has such an eclectic kind of
Yeah.
weird vibe. Like even some like The Quick and the Dead, which is like one of his more initial mainstream films. It's about like a shooting contest, and the entire movie is just like really ridiculous trick shots. And like he goes out there for it, and he may have actually done something interesting rather than like 10 seconds of kaleidoscope vision and then never anything again like the first one.
If that's the case, between this and Eternals, Marvel is never going to hire a director with a distinct style ever again. Ever again. Oh my goodness. But all right.
Oh
What's
my
next?
god. Oh man, I'm worried. All right. So, on the vein of the MCU stuff, got some comments about Captain America 4. So, it seems like Captain America 4 is going to be kind of like the same thing that we got in the Falcon Winter Soldier. So, it
Bad.
seems like he's going to have to earn his stripes again. Sam Wilson's going to have to earn his stripes again. And the internet was not happy about this. They were not happy about this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm confused by it. Very confused. Because we just saw the same exact thing happen with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So why are we doing this again?
I can
I don't get it.
understand. I can understand this, and mainly because no one should watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. So if this is a repeat, then good. They might get it right this time. They might get it right this
Mm.
time.
Um I I'm of two minds of this, right? From the one hand, I absolutely get why they're doing it. It's, hey, yeah, we did this on a streaming show on our streaming network. And yeah, our numbers looked decent, looked great even, but that's it's still a large part of the audience out there who has no idea that Sam Wilson is Captain America right now. Especially if they're casual viewers of the MCU, they may have heard
Uh,
something in passing, but they don't know how he got to that point. So, so yeah, they're gonna show him earning the mantle, so to speak, right? I get it from that standpoint. It's smart business. Narratively, it's okay. You guys just did this, but whatever. I'm not gonna trip out over it like the whole internet did and just show its ass. Um, we shouldn't be surprised that the MCU does some asinine decisions at this point in time. It's been going on since 2008. We're in 2021 now. Come on, guys. You know how this studio operates. Yeah, the the black heroes in the MCU haven't exactly been handled particularly well. So here we are. They're gonna, Sam Wilson. He's got to earn his stripes again. But like I said, if you don't look at it through that window and you look at it through a business window first, it makes a lot more sense. It's still dumb either way because now you're spending money to do something that you've already done before when you could have just spent the money and made the movie in the first place. But whatever. It's neither here nor there. It's not that big of a deal.
yeah.
I think my hope for this is that the way he words it, it might mean that this is actually entertaining. Like I don't
Mm,
like Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of again had the same problem with WandaVision where it's like it doesn't know what it wants to do with like in terms of antagonistic forces and conflicts. Like that, like it was might have been worse because like the Flag Smashers and U.S. Agent are just so badly written as villains. Like they're just so
Yeah.
badly written. It's not engaging. It's not exciting. I don't care about Sam Cap's journey in that show. It's not a journey. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit. I'm sorry, but it's a terribly written show, and his arc was awful, and it didn't mean anything. It had no impact. So if they can do it in a movie, they should do it in a movie. I sorry, I don't give a shit. And this is actually something I'm really really upset about because the show was terrible, and the kind of arc it took for him to get the shield and the suit, it was nothing. It was badly written garbage. So let's just read. I don't give a shit. We can just ignore the show happened.
hmm. Yeah, like I said, I also didn't really care for the show. Like the Sam stuff was probably the more interesting stuff to me, but in general, it's nothing I will ever go back to, and I still feel the same way I felt back when back when we spoke about it in season one. I think it's beneath WandaVision, honestly. Like WandaVision was bad, but I can honestly say this was a little worse than WandaVision because of just how the way everything was handled. So now that I hear the way AJ spoke about it, it does make sense. So maybe they can get it right, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably use clips from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then they'll just kind of start. Yeah, it'll be kind of like a reset for that entire story. Not a reset, but a re-imaging, I guess, or a touch up on it. That's the best way to put it. Because I think for him becoming Cap, that was a moment. Obviously, everybody was happy, but when you really get past the hype, this was not well done.
He gives
This was
like
not
a
well done at all.
he gives a few bad apples kind of speech. Bullshit.
Yeah, it was just a moment. Like we were happy, sure, but that happiness would really went away when you realize just how badly the story was written for us to get here. So if this is going to help elevate him and really give him the respect that he deserves, then go for it. I know back then I was kind of skeptical on them doing a Captain America 4 movie, period. Actually, I wasn't skeptical. Well, we were skeptical because it was the same writers. But who knows? Maybe this could be the blessing that it needs. Maybe it could be. So I was a little ticked off at it because like, well, why does the black guy got to work harder this time around? Like, isn't that the case all the time? But I mean, I guess if we do it right, then no, more people will know, and more people will put respect on Sam Capp's name.
Yeah,
It's a good way. That's a good way to see it, honestly.
let's see him kick some ass. You know.
Yeah, and I've seen some interesting like theories on the internet about how this story could go, and I think if they really do write it correctly and really give him a formidable opponent, and we don't have to deal with um, any of the Bucky stuff, and it's just him, I think it has the potential to be a good movie. Probably one of the better MCU movies, well, to come out.
Like I said this in jest for like when we did the whole sort of review of this show. Um, but I still think that that for this they should just bring back Hydra, like really bring it back.
Mm,
They should they wasted that conceit. I mean, Winter Soldier was shit and it was off screened like really hard in Age of Ultron. Actually bring this stuff back. I mean, have him go like this real adventure, old school adventure heroic style kind of like movie kind of journey. Like I would love to see that. Like because you have to have like insurmountable odds and like what did we see about of Hydra in the original? Oh, the obviously evil guys were Hydra all along.
yeah,
Like who no, like I'm sorry, but it's a shame, but like the Mission Impossible movies, they did a Hydra style plot, and it was actually really entertaining and really exciting. Um, and this should actually outstrip that, because it's the OG.
yeah. It's in a way, it's kind of like Sam is inheriting some of Cap's problems. He's kind of like closing that thread in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's not bad. And again, if they see another Captain America coming around, then again, there's just more bullshit thrown his way. It's like I'm not that Cap. Well, you are Cap, so you got
yeah,
to deal with it. So we'll see. You know what? I'm actually cautiously optimistic now. Cautiously optimistic. Cautiously, I'll say that.
yeah. Me too. Like I said, I want them to get it right this time. I'm not saying like this is gonna be terrible, but I want to have hope for it.
I put in the notes because I know Elvis was going to go off, and he did make a comment about it in our last episode. I kind of want to give him the floor, but before I give
Uh,
him the floor, I do want to set this up. I do want to set this up. So it looks like Radiant Black is getting. There's going to be a crossover here with Radiant Black, and there's two other books here as well. So it looks like Radiant Black is going to be crossing over two other properties. One of them is called Rogue One. That's going to be written by Ryan Parrott, who's also writing both of the Mighty Morphin books. And then there is another property that was a Kickstarter that's coming out. It's called Inferno Girl. And it looks like this was a plan all along. Like Rich from Bleeding Cool kind of put this out there a couple months ago. As with anything that comes out of Bleeding Cool, I take it with a grain of salt. He said that Image was trying to set up like their own little comic book universe, but it looks like it's true. So Radiant Black, Inferno Girl, and Rogue One are all going to be coming together in February of 2022, and that crossover is going to kick off Inferno Girl and kick off Rogue One. Um, I'm a fan of Radiant Black. I just think it's a fun, cool story, and obviously, what's his name? Kyle Higgins was inspired by his work on Power Rangers, so I see a lot of that here. Dude is doing his thing also in Ultraman, so I'm having fun with the story. It's honestly just grown up Power Rangers in a sense, and it's cool, man. I didn't really go into this book expecting much, honestly, but I'm having a great time with it. Just the story directions that's taken, definitely kind of out of left field, but so far, yeah, it's arguably one of my favorite monthly titles right now. But I don't know. I guess I can let AJ go since he's also a fan of Radiant Black, and then we can let Elvis do
Yeah,
his
we'll let
thing
Elvis
after.
close it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a fan of Radiant Black. I really like it. Like I said, last issue, not too much happened, but it's a reason for the stillness narratively, so it makes sense. I am concerned about we're launching not one but two new series in a crossover. I backed the Infernal Girl Red, or is it Infernal Girl? I think Infernal Girl. I backed that Kickstarter a while back. It looked really interesting. So I said, hey, let's give it a shot. I didn't necessarily think they would be starting off with a crossover. Now you look at some of the early images that they put out of it, that they put out about the property, you could tell, okay, they're gonna have them cross over one day. It was, kind of obvious to see, but I don't know. Them doing that right out of the gate, it kind of concerns me.
Yeah.
Like you're not letting this character establish themselves first. It's like, oh no, hey, let's bring in this more popular guy. It reeks of other things that we've seen from other comics before, from some of the bigger companies when they don't necessarily have faith in a character. So,
I think
we'll
some of
see.
that has to do with the fact that it's a Kickstarter, which is weird because I figured if this is something that Higgins is spearheading, why wouldn't you just put it under the Image umbrella?
I think it still is going to be, but like a lot of these, the indie companies, I don't know if we can still call Image an indie, but whatever. They've been having people, their books that they already plan on putting out, but for whatever reason they have authors see if they can drum up some money on Kickstarter. I don't know.
Okay.
It seems slightly shady to me. But whatever. Because some other people have done it too. I'm trying to think. Did Seven
Berserker.
Secrets do something? So yeah, I know. Yeah, oh,
No, but
Berserker is very shady how
yeah.
they've done it.
And Seven
But
Secrets was there was no Kickstarter because it's boom.
there was okay.
Yeah.
Then it's something. No, Boom did it with their Power Ranger collection, with
Oh
the
yeah, they did,
hardcovers or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, like that's like some of those, like you're I understand you're not DC or Marvel, but you're major companies. You guys have the cash. You don't need to raise the money from your fans to do this.
And them books are selling pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So there was no need to fundraise for it when the audience for it was already there. Just put it out, they'll buy it. The Rogue Sun or Rogue, you said Rogue One.
Rogue Sun.
Um, Rogue Sun. Okay,
Hmm.
that this is actually my first time hearing of that book, so I'll have to look it up and see. But if that's a new title as well, like I said, launching it in a crossover, it's kind of worrisome, but we'll see what happens. But I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say on that.
All right. Elvis, go ahead, man.
I feel
I
like
know
you
you've been
oversold.
waiting.
I feel like you oversold it. Okay, so again, I want to clarify. I don't hate Radiant Black, but I gotta set this up because there was a time in like the first arc where everyone on the timeline was screaming, "Oh my God, this book ruined my mind. I'm so shocked. I'm so I had to sit down after reading this incredibly like shocking, insane, mind breaking issue." I'm like, I read it like, oh, this is just same. You could read this in 1,000 different comics. Nothing. It's nothing new. And then I read the next issue after that, and like, oh, so it wasn't even as like impactful or as final as the issue implied. Like, okay, you know what I'm talking. Okay. Spoilers, for Radiant Black, right? But the first like 3 issues sets up this main character. It's fine. Oh, look, the powers seem kind of like iffy and sinister, but everything's fine. And then like the fourth issue or something, he gets killed. Big air quotes. He's not really dead. Who surprise? You couldn't guess it for like 1 second. And his friend is like gets the powers. And he's like, okay, yeah, no, I'll be sinister with the powers like the sinister powers want me to be. And that's the thing. Everyone was so up in arms about saying it was the most incredible book they've ever written, and that Kyle Higgins was reinventing superheroes comics forever. And that I couldn't believe that superhero comic had done something so shocking and subversive.
Yo,
I'm
your
like,
tone has me
but
cracking.
like, am I wrong? That's literally what happened. Am I lying about what happened in these issues?
No, you're not at all. It
No,
doesn't
you're
reinvent
not.
the wheel. It's fun. It's fun though.
But like
No,
again,
keep
I don't,
going,
I
keep
don't,
going.
I don't mind it. Like it was such like a jarring thing where like everyone was like everyone like I think Rob was talking about several like really cynical um rituals I have were talking about. Like everyone was screaming about this book, and like I read it like this is nothing. This is a nothing book. Like I mean, not that it's nothing, but like it's nothing intense. It's nothing unique. It's just
Yeah.
your average standard book, and it's enjoyable. But like, I don't know where the hell all
Overhyped
this
it.
came
That's
from.
what it was. It's a lot of overhype.
It was, and
Yeah.
that's my main point. Like, it doesn't deserve the hype. It's mediocrely entertaining. Like like it's your border it's your borderline okay book. It's the kind of book you would find like a Dwayne Reed back like the early 2000s, back when they would like sell comics like a pharmacy. It's that kind of book.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see where you're coming from. A
Like,
lot of these folk who were like overhyped or whatever, this probably was their first time maybe just reading a superhero type book that wasn't from the big two, and also kind of had those quote unquote like mature themes. So obviously when they seen some of the shit from Radiant Black, they just thought it was just like the greatest thing ever. It's just like honestly, when I went into Radiant Black, I was expecting just a good story because I fuck with Higgins. Like I do enjoy his work on Power Rangers, and I do fuck with that Ultraman series and some of the stuff that he's did with DC. So you kind of knew what you were getting yourself into. But no, I do see where you're coming from. It's it does the job and then some, but it's nothing that's just like, oh my gosh, it's mind blowing. It deserves the praise, but not something that's like rock your socks off, if
yeah,
anything.
yeah. I like Higgins too. I like a lot of his DC work. I thought the Ultraman series he's been doing have been okay. Like, those are entertaining as well. But like, yeah, that's what like really surprised me and took me for a loop, because I didn't even want to talk. But when I read it, I'm like, is that it? And I didn't want to talk about it on the timeline because there was such a deluge of it. Like, I didn't want to be like, oh, I thought it was bad, or I thought it was like meh, because it was like all over the place. And
What
I guess you're right. If you go from something like Power Rangers, the Higgins Power Rangers, to this, there is a giant uptick in quality. Like, I'm no fan of Higgins Power Rangers. I think that's probably his weakest thing. So like, yeah, I could see people who were only making that transition because of the writer. They knew the writer,
yeah.
being more like bowled over by this.
Yeah. And also kind of just to get back on top of like this specifically, like this crossover is interesting to me because coming from Power Rangers, one of the things that I did enjoy was the distinction between both books because it was Higgins was writing Mighty Morphin and Ryan Parrott was writing Go-Go. So it's good. It's cool to see that dynamic coming back, especially in an entirely different new concept, especially creator owned. So I'm really excited for this because obviously when it comes to Power Rangers, there's certain confines that you have to work within because Power Rangers is such a as much as I don't as much as I don't like to admit it, it's a pretty big brand till this day. But I do want to see what Higgins and Parrott come up with together once again because Mighty Morphin and Go-Go, Mighty Morphin and Go-Go were just so two completely different books with their own different feels, but they kind of gelled together when they needed to, and that was the fun of it. But yeah, I'm excited. I am more interested now to see what's happening with Inferno Girl because that design looks dope. I didn't get a chance to back it on the Kickstarter, but I will check out this crossover. And yeah, I am interested for especially like Rogue Sun. Excuse me. I'm interested in what's happening here, so I'm gonna check this crossover out.
I want to mention one last thing before I wrap
What's up?
up. So I've been seeing pictures from like No Way Home like fan Twitters being retweeted. I saw a picture of Tom Holland and Benedict Cumberbatch, and like oh,
Oh,
and I was like, I don't know, I guess like some sort of like behind the scenes thing, like out of costume, and I'm like, wait a minute, is that Benedict Cumberbatch? And I thought for like a good minute, like of possibilities of who he could be playing, and then I realized like, oh, he's Doctor Strange. And I totally forgot Doctor Strange was even a
wait,
character.
what?
Could he be like Norman Osborn? Could Benedict Cumberbatch be playing Norman Osborn? Because like I had so forgotten that Doctor Strange even existed because he's such a boring MCU character that I thought like he might have been a Spider-Man villain.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's I feel like a good minute thinking that.
Mm, mm, mm,
Oh my
mm.
hey yo, speaking of which, yo, shout out to John Campea for
Oh, we
leaking that
need
Spider-Man shit, yo. Shout out to him, dog. Shout out to him.
he also not only did he leak it, he confirmed it as well. He didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah,
Yo,
like if
honestly,
Sony wanted it to be some mystique left around, whether or not they were Toby and Andrew were going to be in the film, Campia completely ruined it when he announced that Sony contacted him and like, you messed up, right?
Yeah, like he could just delete it and then never mention it again. But
Exactly.
exactly.
he makes the point of saying it was Sony who told me to take it down. So I'm just saying that
Oh
if you
my
love John Campia, switch over to ours. We're all spoiler free. So please give us your patronage.
please give us your patience. No. Seriously, man. Like honestly, Spider-Man No Way Home is no, this is the worst kept secret of the year. This is the worst kept
Yes,
secret
man.
the last couple of years. It's terrible. It's horrible. Like, what don't we know about this movie? Seriously, what
If
don't
it's
we
gonna be
Uh,
good
know?
or not.
yeah, that's about it.
Oh
Which
yeah,
I
of
wouldn't bet
course.
on.
Yeah, no, wouldn't put on either. But y'all, yeah, I think this is a good point to end off. Fellas, please let them know where they can find you at. Elvis, I have your thingamajiggy right here, so I guess you can go first, man. So let them know where they can find you at, brother.
Twitter at THE_SNICKMAN, and also my YouTube channel, Unsourced Wall Radio, where I do a bunch of my own reviews, retrospectives, and unboxings.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah, as always, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. underscore Mitchell underscore the number two underscore the letter U. Come find my bad hot takes and my rants on all this comic shit that we talk about on a weekly basis. Yo, shout out to Disney Plus for Logo Day this week. I hope you all do another one very soon. It was not at all a waste of anybody's time. Keep them coming.
Oh shit. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at roll of a queen underscore. Um, yeah, where I'm really not tweeting much. If I like I said before, if I'm tweeting, it's just to promote the podcast. I do have a video that I started working on. It should be done by tomorrow, hopefully out this week. Hopefully on the same day this episode comes out. It is a Green Arrow video. I've been sitting on that one for a good couple months now, so finally ready to put that
Nice.
out. I know the streets have been hungry for Green Arrow content from me, so yeah, here it is. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Roll of Queen Reviews, where I will be putting out that video. You could also find us, the entire podcast, on Twitter, which is under at Comics Authority. So, please send us those follows, hit us up with those subscriptions. The YouTube channel still on the way, but we appreciate all the support that we've been getting so far. So yeah, more things to come. But y'all, please be easy out there. COVID is still a thing. Please don't be like Letitia Wright. Hopefully, if you're traveling, you get your ass back here. If not, then sucks to be you. But y'all, this is the Comics Code Authority, and we are out.